Greetings and welcome to PinballHelp. Mike here. Today, or I should say tonight, I am working on this Gottlieb Waterworld. Just kind of going through the game, cleaning everything out, and I'm just finished rebuilding this drop target bank. So I thought I would do a short little video about what I did and how to take apart this drop target bank and refurbish it. I've done another video on actually making my own graphics for the drop targets, but I'm just going to go over how to pull this thing out and service it. So here's the drop target bank. It sits normally right in here. Most of these Gottlieb ones are going to be of the similar era. In this case, there's 3 screws to remove it because the 4th screw, there's not a place for it, so there's only 3. So this comes out once you get the 3 screws out. Now, I've already put it back together, so I'm going to show you how I took it apart. So I also notice I changed the drop targets on this. Since this is Waterworld, I've got a little thief running off with a bag of money to symbolize them going over budget for the movie. I thought it would be clever to do some custom graphics, so that's what I did for this. So you have screws all over this. So what's the easiest way to take it off? Well, if you look at it, you can see the drop targets here, and see there's a slot there. So this back plate is what you want to take off, not the front plate. So let's turn it around and let's take a look at the back plate. So first thing I did was I unhooked the power line for the coil right there. When you pull this off, you want to check to make sure that these soldering terminals here are nice and strong. I had one of them that was pretty weak, and I actually reflowed it, and that was good. So you want to make sure you got a good connection there. So this can be unhooked right here. In fact, let me just unhook it. Hold on a second. I hate to sit it down, but let's unhook it and pull the whole assembly out, because this is one of those things you could work on the bench for. Okay. So let's pull this thing out and take a look. All right. So let's go over to the bench. All right. So here's our drop target bank right there. No, that's a dish. This is a drop target bank. Okay. So there it is, completely assembled, but let's say these are broken and you want to take them apart. What you want to do is, first thing you want to do is you want to undo these 4 screws here. 1, 2, 3, 4. You need to do 6 screws total. But you see this right here, this is a stop for the coil assembly. So what happens is when the coil fires, this is what resets it. And this little L bracket right here keeps this thing from falling out. If you need to service the coil and clean it, you undo these 2 bolts, and then this L bracket comes off, and then this will fall out. You want to clean that if you have any problems. But what I did is I marked. You see, I put a little mark there with a pen, so I knew how it was adjusted. So I knew when I put it back on where the screws go. They go between these 2 lines, so that I didn't have to readjust it. So you pull that off, that comes out, and then you take these 4 screws off, and then you see the drop targets are on springs, and you just reach in there. You can get it from the front or the back and unhook the spring, and then the targets just come out. And here's the old one, and they're pretty filthy. It's good to clean the whole assembly. If the targets are still a little bit sluggish, you could take a few links off of this spring. Sometimes those springs get a little bit fatigued, but if it's working nicely, these will drop nice. They'll go right back down, and bam, like that. So there's the assembly, and then you just basically put it back the way it was before. Put these 4 screws on, and this is a little L bracket, and then put the bracket stop here, and then tighten that all up, and you should be good to go. If you want to put some thread lock on here, you could do some temporary stuff. Don't put any permanent. But it's got lock nuts on these things, so they should stay pretty solid. I don't see it coming loose. So there's a quick little how-to undo these things. It looks intimidating with all the bolts, but you only really have to take 6 out after you get the assembly out. And this is nice of them, since it's just, you can actually unplug it and plug it back in, so that's kind of nice. So there you have it. Quick little tutorial on how to disassemble a System 3 Gottlieb target bank. And for more, visit PinballHelp.com. Thanks.